Welcome to the introduction session of SL1 Advanced Business Reporting ABR. So I am your lecturer Dasun Mendis. I am taking you through the financial reporting part of this SL1 paper. So first of all, these are the areas that we are going to cover in the presentation in this introduction session. First of all, get to know your examination, what is the syllabus weightage and the paper structure of SL1 paper. Thereafter, recent changes to the syllabus in terms of the SLFRSs, as well as in terms of the risk and material misstatements which were introduced in the recent examination cycles. We need to look at these aspects. Especially SLFRSs are relevant with the financial reporting aspect. Risk of material misstatements are relevant to the governance, risk and ethics part, right? So the details about that particular topic would be discussed by the lecturers who are covering the risk, governance and ethics part. But I'll be discussing in a short what are the main changes in terms of both SLFRSs and the risk of material misstatements. Thereafter, course content, how I'm going to deliver this course, right? So the approach that I'm going to follow. Thereafter, study plan that you need to adhere into. And finally, prerequisite for the examination success, right? So first of all, you should understand this particular paper is a paper which look at integrative or integrated perspective, which means it's a holistic paper. It's not purely about the financial reporting. In addition to the financial reporting, this paper particularly guides you to act as a CFO in the future. So because of that, yes, you need to have the knowledge about the financial reporting aspect. In addition to that, you also should know that, okay, how to identify the risk of material misstatements by looking at set of financial statements, how to do the analysis by looking at the figures in the financial statements, right? So what are the relevant governance aspects that you need to know when you are working for an organization? All these things would be covered in this paper. Now, if I look at the weightage of the syllabus, 35% of the syllabus consists of SLFRSs. We know there are about 40 accounting standards have been issued by CA Sri Lanka, right? So out of these standards, most of the standards are within the SL1 syllabus, so which consists of 35% of the syllabus. So thereafter, group accounts, which means consolidation, how to prepare the consolidated financial statements, right? When you have a parent company and subsidiaries, you might have an associate, you might have a foreign subsidiary. You need to learn about how to prepare the consolidated cash flow in addition to the consolidated statement of profit and loss and consolidated statement of financial position. All these things would be included, so which consists of 20% of the syllabus. Thereafter, as mentioned, emphasis was given in terms of the risk of material misstatements by looking at the set of financial statements, how to identify risk of material misstatements, right? So which consists of 25% of the syllabus. And thereafter, governance and non-financial reporting. Non-financial reporting in the sense things like integrated reporting, right? So which covers 15% of the syllabus. And finally, 5% of the syllabus consists of ethics. So out of these 5 areas, what I'm going to cover is SLFRSs as well as the group accounts, right? So the relevant areas of the financial reporting. So these 3 topics would be covered by the lecturer who is teaching the risk, governance and ethics part, right? Moving on. So thereafter, you also should be aware about the exam format, how your paper structure is, right? So it's a 3 hours paper, pass mark is 50%, but don't target for 50, target for 90, then at least you'll be end up by getting 50, right? So then if you look at the structure of the paper, there are 2 sections, section 1 and section 2. So the marks allocation is 50 marks for the 2 questions in section 1, which means section 1 consists of 2 questions, each carries 25 marks. So that's how these 50 marks are consist of. These are actually scenario based questions, right? Not the direct questions about the accounting standards, not the definitions and all that. So these are scenario based questions. Application of the syllabus areas would be tested in these 2 questions what is there in the section number 1. So thereafter, section 2 consists of one question that is actually based on the common pre-seen, right? So you'll be given the unseen scenario in the examination, and there are questions. In terms of this section 2 or this particular question, 50-mark question, you would definitely have consolidation adjustment. Consolidation areas are tested in this particular unseen. Okay, based on the common pre-seen, there will be an unseen, then the consolidation areas would be tested definitely over here. In addition to that, in addition to the consolidation, you will be tested about the accounting standards, risk of material misstatements, or any other area of the syllabus what we discussed earlier, right? Unseen based on the common pre-seen given. Right, so now we know that what is the syllabus weightage as well as how the paper structure is. That's about your examination. Moving on, as I mentioned earlier, recently, that is in 2023, there was a curriculum change. Before that, actually, in this paper, there was a part called auditing. Auditing standards were tested, right? But now, with this curriculum change, as I mentioned earlier, this paper focuses on how you are going to act as a future CFO. You need to have a holistic view about the financial reporting aspect. Not only to know about the standards and the consolidation, but by analyzing, by looking at set of financial statements, how to interpret those financial statements. Then how to identify risk of material misstatements in the financial statements. For an example, let's say under the current economic context, right? So the buying power, purchasing power of the people are poor. So because of that, now the organization that you are talking about is in the, let's assume, in the FMCG industry. So the goods that they manufacture, produce are having a less demand. So the people are not consuming. Then what will happen is there can be an inventory accumulation. Then as the CFO, he should have the mindset to identify now there can be a situation of inventory overvaluation. Because why? Once the inventory items are there in your warehouse for a longer period, there might be a possibility of what? Obsolete inventory would be created. So he has to know that, okay, there can be a risk of material misstatement. I have to check that whether the inventory valuation is correct. Cost or net realizable value, whichever is lower. In addition to that, the machinery, plant and machinery that you use to produce these goods, if you don't have a demand for the products that the company manufacture, so these plant and machinery items might be what? Idling. So that's trigger to a what? Impairment indicator. So what I'm telling is that is the CFO's perspective, not to look at P&L and balance sheet and say that this is the performance, this is the financial performance, this is the financial position. He has to identify these are the areas where there can be risk of material misstatements that would be there in the financial statements. So with the curriculum change, so it looks at CFO's perspective of identifying risk of material misstatements. There are learning outcomes included into your syllabus in terms of this particular matter. As I mentioned earlier, there were auditing standards which are tested in this paper. Now those have been removed, but the knowledge, basic knowledge about the auditing is important, right? Like internal control, inherent risk, control risk. So you should know about these concepts, but directly auditing standards are not going to be tested. As well as audit procedures have been taken out from the paper SL1 with this curriculum change. Right, so then moving into the important aspect, that is about what are the changes which were taken into account in terms of the financial reporting. Actually, in terms of financial accounting and reporting pillar relevant to your subject, that is SL1, these are the changes that were actually, that was applicable from December 2023 paper onwards, right? So these changes were actually applicable from December 2023 paper onwards. That means definitely for your examination also these changes are applicable. So if you look at the changes, so these changes are actually relevant with the accounting standards. There are 4 accounting standards. Number 1 is SLFRS 17 insurance contract. Now earlier, before this change, this particular standard was not within the syllabus. But now it is included within the syllabus. That means you should know about this standard, SLFRS 17 insurance contract. This is mostly important for the insurance companies where they enter into, or their main business is to enter into the insurance contracts with the clients, right? So how to account for these insurance contract is the main area which is covered in SLFRS 17. But the good news is this is introduced, but if this is tested in the examination, that's going to be tested as level C testing. What does that mean? So I told you earlier, you have about 40 accounting standards, right? Altogether, you have 40 accounting standards. Now, all these standards, when it comes to the testing of the examination, is not given the same depth, which means examiner is not expecting students to have the same amount or same level of knowledge in terms of all these standards. Because of that, what happens is, when it comes to these accounting standards, those have been categorized into 3 levels, I would say. Level A testing, level B testing, and level C testing. Okay, A, B, and C, right? Now, SLFRS 17 insurance contract is going to be tested, if it is tested in the examination, as level C testing. But to understand level C, you should know level A and level B. What does that mean by level A testing? What do you mean by level A testing? Which means if a particular standard is tested as a level A standard, the student should have a thorough knowledge about the standard, and they should know that how to apply the standard for a complicated accounting matter, complicated transaction. That means you need to know the details. You have to go into depth and understand about that particular standard. That is level A testing. When it comes to level B means good knowledge. In level A, thorough knowledge, but level B, good knowledge. Good knowledge about the standard, and the students should aware how to apply this standard for a moderately complicated transaction. Moderately complicated transaction or accounting matter or accounting issue, right? That is about the level B testing. Level C testing means where examiner is expecting only a conceptual knowledge about the standard, and the standard application would be with regard to a simple accounting matter, simple transaction. Now, with regard to the insurance contracts, which means students should have a conceptual knowledge. You should understand, okay, what is the scope of this standard? So what is the model, or there are a few models which is discussed in SLFRS 17 insurance contract standard. What are these main models which are discussed in the standard? What are the recognition, measurement, presentation, and the disclosure requirements to apply the standard for a simple, straightforward transaction? So if it is tested in the examination, it would be a very basic question, right? Okay. So we'll be learning about this standard over the course, right? So we'll do a video. I'll be doing a video with regard to this. So there you can understand the details about the standard. That is actually the first change in terms of the financial reporting pillar. Then the second area in terms of the financial reporting pillar, or in terms of the accounting standard, is LKS 1, presentation of financial statements. With regard to this standard, there are a couple of changes actually. One is with regard to the classification of liabilities into current or non-current. So, you know, when you are presenting liabilities in the statement of financial position, what we need to do? We have to classify them into either a current or non-current liabilities. So there are certain new rules, provisions have been introduced in terms of the classification of liabilities into current and non-current. So we'll be looking that over the lecture series. So I'll do a video where you will understand. I'm not going to explain about the rules and the provisions at this moment because this is an introduction video. So what I wanted to mention you is, okay, there's a change like this has happened. So we'll be discussing about these changes once we go through the video lectures. Right. So then LKS 1 has one more change, that is with regard to the accounting policy disclosures. Before this change, if you can remember, when it comes to accounting policies are part of set of financial statements, one element of financial statements of the organization. What accounting policies are to be disclosed before this revision? You have to disclose significant accounting policies which are applicable for the particular organization. The word significant. With this change, with this amendment or with this update, what has happened is, what entities are required to do is to disclose the material accounting policies. You should understand, okay, where or in what situation an accounting policy would become material. Yet again, we'll be discussing that in detail once I go through the lecture series. Right, so that is about the second standard, LKS 1. Then the next standard where there's a change in terms of the financial reporting pillar, in terms of the accounting standard, is LKS 8. Accounting policies, changes in accounting estimates and errors. So that is the name of the standard. What is the change is, even though this standard was there for a long period of time, up until this revision, there was no definition for the accounting estimates. What do you mean by accounting estimate? We know there are a lot of accounting estimates that we make when preparing the financial statements, right? Example, when we have a property, plant and equipment item, we need to estimate what is the useful life of the property, plant and equipment item. So the useful life is an accounting estimate. But there was no definition for the word accounting estimate. With the update or with the revision, there is now a definition for the word accounting estimates. We'll again look at once we discuss this matter in terms of a video lecture. Right. Then we discuss about the changes in terms of the SLFRS 17, LKAS 1, LKAS 8. The last change is in terms of LKS 12, income tax standard. You know, income tax standard consists of two things, current tax and deferred tax. Current tax is the amount of tax that you pay to the government based on your taxable profit. Deferred tax is an accountant's adjustment to take the tax effect of a particular transaction to the relevant accounting period. And these are a bit of a, I would say, a technical, and students believe that it's a complex accounting standard, but it's not. When you understand the logic, it's not complex. But anyway, so what the standard says is, especially in terms of the deferred taxes, when there's a temporary difference, either taxable or deductible temporary difference, you need to recognize the deferred tax impact, which means you need to recognize the deferred tax liability or the deferred tax asset. So that is the general rule in the standard. But in para 15 and 24 of this standard LKS 12, it provides certain exemptions to this general rule, which means if the criteria mentioned in para 15 and 24 are satisfied, even though there's a temporary difference, you don't need to recognize the deferred tax asset and the liabilities. So exemptions were given in the standard. But what is the change? What is the revision? What is the update? Update is these exemptions were narrowed down. Right? So certain exemptions which were given in the standard have been reduced, narrowed down. I'm not going to explain at this moment about these exemptions and what is narrowed down, because why it's technical standard. Once we do the standard, I will explain about, okay, what is the changes. So in brief, so these are the main changes which has happened in the financial accounting and reporting pillar, or in terms of the accounting standards, which is applicable for your syllabus. And as I mentioned, accounting standards consist of what? Altogether 35% weightage when it comes to your paper SL1. Right. Moving on. Right. Now I'm explaining you the course content. So how I'm going to taking you through over this course during the remaining 5 months period. Right. So when it comes to your course, there are two main modules. Number one is essential theory module. In the essential theory module, what happens is all topics. So as I mentioned, mainly accounting standards, consolidation. So all topics are covered through the recorded videos, and these recorded videos are high quality pre-recorded videos, and these videos would be uploaded into your LMS on weekly basis, right? In addition to that, sometimes you see that, okay, this is theory module, no computations, no calculations, no. What happens is within the theory module itself, I'll be discussing questions for each and every learning outcome to understand the theory and apply the theory into a practical scenario, what is getting tested in the examination. So remember, even though this is the theory module, we'll be discussing exam type questions to cover all the learning outcomes what is there in your syllabus, right? So that is actually the first module in this particular course. Let's look at the study plan of the essential theory module. Here what I'm doing is I'm uploading the videos into the LMS on weekly basis, more specifically every Friday. So what you do is you have to watch the videos during the weekend. It doesn't mean that you just need to watch the videos during the weekend, because the model offered here is you can watch the videos at any time from anywhere, any number of times until the examination. So that take the advantage of it. But what I wanted to mention is don't accumulate your work, right? Don't wait until the last month to watch all the videos, right? So you have to maintain the discipline of watch and complete the videos within the relevant week itself, right? So moving to the study plan. So there are three columns: the relevant section, particular specific standard, specific area, and the date on which I'll be uploading the videos into the LMS. So the first of all, I'll be uploading asset related standards. There are actually 9 asset related standards in the syllabus. So these asset related standards, all asset related standard would be uploaded on 28th of June, right? Starting from property, plant and equipment, investment property, borrowing cost, intangible assets, impairment of assets, then accounting for government grants and disclosure of government assistance, non-current asset held for sale and discontinued operation, inventory, agriculture. So all these 9 standards would be uploaded on 28th of June. And thereafter, each week, so we'll be uploading the videos as per this plan. So after the asset related standard, it is conceptual and regulatory framework. There are 2 topics, conceptual framework and regulatory framework. After that, there are 5 standards in the presentation of financial statement section, right? Then provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent asset, LKS 37, revenue from contracts with customers, SLFRS 15, right? So thereafter, the other standards, disclosure related standards, there are a couple of standards, SLFRS 8 and LKS 24. Employee benefits, financial instruments, one of the important standard when it comes to syllabus. There are 3 standards relevant with the financial instruments. Then share-based payments, income taxes, leases, other accounting standards, and finally earning per share. So by 20th of September, all the accounting standards would be uploaded into the LMS, right? So that is a major part of your syllabus that would be done by 20th of June, 20th of September, 20th of September. Then we move to the other important section of financial reporting, that is actually the consolidation part. When it comes to consolidation also, I have arranged the video series in such a manner where there's a logical flow. So starting from principles of consolidation, basics of consolidation, we move into the acquisition of a subsidiary, disposal of a subsidiary, complex group, right? Thereafter, how to consolidate the foreign subsidiaries, group accounting involving foreign currency, then how to prepare the group statement of cash flow, consolidated statement of cash flow. So all these topics from starting from principles of consolidation to the group statement of cash flow are relevant with consolidation. So all the consolidation related areas would also be completed by 8th November, right? Then finally, there are a couple of standards which I need to upload into the LMS, SLFRS for SMEs, small and medium entities. SLFRS 1, first time adoption of Sri Lanka accounting standards. Why I upload these two standards after the consolidation? Because to understand these two standards, you need to have the knowledge about the consolidation as well. So that's why I'm uploading these two standards at last after even covering the consolidation topics. So the message what I wanted to give you is by 15th November, entire syllabus in terms of financial reporting, which consists of 55% of the paper, is fully completed so that you have enough time to get ready for the exam. Okay, for the exam preparation, you have enough time. So again, I'm reminding you, if you are a full-time student, right? So you have enough time to study. So it's a crime if you fail the examination being a full-time student, because why? You are wasting 6 months of your life. Don't do that, right? Even if you are a working student, you can't give excuses because these are professional exams. So it's not like O-levels or A-levels. So a professional student should be able to manage the work with the studies. At least 2 hours for a day you need to spend on your studies. Watching these videos, do the questions, practice the questions, right? So you have to spend enough time for your studies. So that is it with regard to the essential theory module, right? So this is the study plan. My kind request is yet again to stick with the particular schedule. Ensure that you watch the video in the relevant week itself. Don't accumulate the work to watch everything just before the examination. That doesn't work, right? Then as I mentioned, next module is exam preparation module. So people refer this as revision module. So here, this revision module is built or tailor-made to apply the theory and how to, by applying the theory, how to craft an answer where you can get the full marks in the examination, right? So because here I need to guide you, teach you in terms of the way that you need to tackle the question, handle the questions. So what I would do is revision module or the exam preparation module, I am following a blended approach, which means there are recorded videos as well as there are certain live online lectures or certain live online sessions which I am going to take to cover the exam preparation module. Right, I'll tell you the number of hours that we are going to spend on the exam preparation module in a little while, but it's a blended way or blended approach. In addition to the recorded videos, there will be live sessions, online live sessions would be conducted to teach you and guide you to ensure that you are crafting an answer in the examination within the time period available to get the full marks. Right. So what are we going to do in terms of the revision or in terms of this exam preparation module? How many accounting standards questions? 50 accounting standards questions would be discussed. This is in addition to the questions discussed in the essential theory module, right? Past papers and the model papers. Model paper questions are mainly taken from international examinations like ACCA. So altogether 50 accounting standards questions would be discussed before you go to the examination, plus 12 consolidation questions. So which means by the time of the examination, you will be super ready. Because why? You have answered 50 exam type accounting standards questions and 12 exam type consolidation questions. Yet again, the consolidation questions are taken from all the past papers in the SL1 syllabus, right? Actually, SL1 was introduced, or the revision or this paper SL1 was introduced in 2020. From that particular point onwards, all the past papers would be discussed in this exam preparation module. In addition to that, what can be tested in your examination? Model questions are taken from the international examinations like ACCA, right? How many hours that you are going to spend? 50 accounting standards questions, 12 consolidation questions, plus we also need to discuss about the pre-scene, which will be released by CS Sri Lanka roughly 1 month before the examination. We need to discuss that pre-scene as well in depth. So the pre-scenes that I have done in the previous sessions are uploaded into the YouTube as well, where you can understand, watch and see that how much of depth that we went into the pre-scene analysis by looking at the annual report of the real companies, listed companies. So similar type of an analysis would be done for your examination as well. So this is very important. So in your exam preparation module or revision module, how many hours of pre-recorded videos would be available? 70 hours of pre-recorded videos plus 30 hours of live sessions, which means your exam preparation module itself consists of 100 hours of time. So where before you go to the examination, everything again one more time. Now you have the essential theory module. In the exam preparation module, entire syllabus would be discussed in way of questions, right? It's a question based revision covering the entire syllabus, which consists of 100 hours, 70 hours of pre-recorded videos and 30 hours of live sessions, right? So when you go to the examination, you don't need to do any other thing. Watch the videos in terms of the essential theory module and spend 100 hours on this. So you will definitely get a good result in the examination if you follow the instructions, right? Okay. Then there are certain things that you need to do by yourself to successfully complete the examination. So I would name this as prerequisite for the examination success, right? So these are the things that you need to do. Learning with discipline. What does that mean? Now I have given you the study plan. You need to ensure that you watch the video during the relevant week, right? For that, you need to have the passion and living in the subject. What does that mean? Don't try to do everything just 2 weeks before the examination. During this next 5 months time, you need to live in the subject, right? You have to have the passion. You should like it, because these accounting standards consolidation that you're going to learn in this module, in this subject, is not just for you to complete your examination, right? Because why? In your career, you will become an accountant, finance manager, CFO, finance director. So this has to be your Bible. Accounting standard knowledge, consolidation knowledge, you should have a passion on that. This is not just for the exam completion, but also for the entire career of you as a chartered accountant, right? Then the next thing, self power play for reflection. I would say mind mapping. So do your basics well. Now let's say if it's a complicated accounting standard like financial instruments, let's say you have topics, impairment of financial assets, then hedge accounting, derivatives, right? When it comes to these topics, you would think that, okay, these are complex, but always try to create a mind map. You should understand, okay, these are the 5 key points that I need to get out of this, right? So that's why during my lecture series, what I would do always is I create diagrams, pictures. That is the mind map that you need to create by yourself, and that is what you need to remember when it comes to the examination. Otherwise, this is a bulky subject, you can't learn by heart. Always create a mind map, always create a picture in your mind when you study, and I will guide you how to do that during our session. Finally, master the art of writing. So when you are answering for the questions, you can do 2 things. One is you read the question, then you answer the question by yourself, you do it by yourself, then you look at the answer. Might be your answer is not correct, but you have attempted that before you go through the answer. That is one approach. So if you follow that approach, you will be successful. That is the approach that you need to follow. Read the question, try to answer by yourself, then after answering, look at the answer. The other approach where some people are doing is what? You read the question and you read the answer as well, and you expect to produce that answer in the examination. Most of the times you are not going to be successful. Because why? You are reading the question, you are reading the answer, you never answer the questions by yourself. So what I always advise the students is to follow the first approach. So master the art of writing. At least one question every week, write and practice. Right? So this is actually what we are going to cover in the exam preparation module. In the second module, I'm going to, cover this area in detail. So how to master the art of writing, but the general advice I have given it to you now. Please follow the instructions. Right, okay. Moving on. So that is about the course content. As I mentioned, there are two key modules, right? Essential theory module and the exam preparation module. I have explained you how the essential theory module would be consist of, or how I'm going to cover the areas in the essential theory module and how I'm going to cover the areas in the exam preparation module. So I just wanted to give a couple of thoughts before, finishing this introduction session. That is, so what is the best investment that you can make at this moment? You are a student. What is the best investment? So as per famous American writer and scientist, Benjamin Franklin, according to him, investment in knowledge pay the best interest. Right? So at the moment you are following the chartered accountancy qualification. So why do you follow chartered accountancy qualification? Maybe to have a, I would say in monetary terms, have a good income, have to have the financial autonomy. Right? So, earning first 100,000 is the most difficult thing. Thereafter, you can go up to maybe 200,000, 500,000, 1 million. That's not difficult. So chartered accountancy qualification is important for you to create the financial autonomy by yourself. But you should understand, money is not everything. After reaching to a particular level, you will understand there are limited things that you can do by using money, right? You can't do everything by using money, but at this moment, it's important for you, frankly. In addition to that, you want to have the social status, right? So when you become a chartered accountant, people recognize you, they respect you. You can mention in your passport saying that I'm a chartered accountant, then you are a globally accepted resource, right? At this moment, a lot of people are migrating, right? So always having the qualification is an added advantage for you to migrate. And also, not only for the migration, but also because of these migrations, there are a lot of opportunities in the local market, right? So obviously, to get a good opportunity, to get a good job offer in the local market, yet again, the qualification is important. So that ensure that when you are a student, your time, your commitment, your effort, you should invest where? In gathering knowledge. That would pay you the best return, best interest, right? The other point, what I wanted to mention is, yet again, another American writer, R. Collier. What is it? Success is the sum of small efforts repeated. Now, let's apply to our context now this statement. Why is that? I have given you a study plan. So, now what you do? One by one, each week you need to watch these videos. So, these are what? Small efforts. So, once you repeatedly do those things, by the examination time, you will be ready for the examination. So, you can complete the examination. So, when it comes to sum of small efforts, once you repeatedly do, you will be achieving the success, the goal that you want to achieve. So now the model, what is offered in Infinity, again I'm reminding, is very convenient, right? So you can watch the videos anytime, anywhere, any number of times. So if you are a morning person, if you want to watch these videos before you go to work, watch that in the morning. If you want to watch that evening, late night, you can do that as well. So while traveling, if you have an opportunity to watch one video, you can watch it. So do these, take these small steps one by one, and where you can achieve your success or where you can achieve your goal. Right. Then if you have any questions in terms of this introduction session or else any of the videos, what is available in the what you call essential theory module, or during the time where we cover the exam preparation module, always the questions can be raised to me directly through the Telegram group, or else you can even contact the administration staff at Infinity, or else you can directly contact me through the Telegram group, where So there are separate group created for that. So those questions would be clarified then and there. So that's it with regard to the introduction session. I wish you all the best to complete the paper SL1 during this examination session, and hope to see you as future chartered accountants in the near future. Thank you.